Welcome everybody to another broadcast, live broadcast. So glad that you guys can join us. If you're live, you're blessed. If you missed it and you're watching a recording, you blessed too. We'll give you that, okay? I hope you guys had a wonderful week so far. And we're going to be diving into quite a few things in this broadcast. So I hope you stick around and check us out, okay? Let's give people a little bit of time to get in. Give it about a minute, okay? We have hit 100 degrees the other day here in the Phoenix area. It's like we get ready. It's a heat up. It's gonna be a heat up this year, man. Meanwhile, on the other side, they were getting snow. All right, the time right now, if you're on the East Coast, it is 9:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're watching this live. And the time here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, is 6:06 our time. So Mountain Time, I believe that is. And welcome. The date is March, I was going to say May, March the 26th. 2025, and so good to see each and every one of y'all out here. People are getting in the chat. Someone asked, hey, who's that playing? That's me. No, that's not me. I don't know who that is. That was, I don't know where I even got that song from. It's not AI. It's some song. So I hope they don't chop that off, because I'll get. That's the one. That's the thing. That's the thing. Is like, you know, you have artists that'll put music out there, and they're like, hey, you can use it. You can use it. Hey, take it. Use it. All right, I'm going to use it. And then next thing I know, I'm getting a notice, you got to take it off. You got to remove it because now they won't get paid. Okay. All right. You know, be switching up like this on me. But anyway, so that's what happens. But anyway, we're going to cover quite a bit today. We're going to try to minimize it all. That is my goal. If I can get these things down to an hour, that is like my goal. For real. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into special announcement that we posted yesterday. I looked at the demand. I said, okay, well, let's do it. About over 70, at least 70 of y'all said, hey, listen, I'm very interested. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into these crazy Tesla people. Listen, black folks, especially my black people. Don't get caught up in this. Don't get caught up in this. Okay, because I got a video I'm going to share with y'all. Don't get, why are you getting caught up in this? Sometimes it's their problem, okay? We got enough that we dealing with, okay? Don't add another thing, silliness to the list, okay? We don't need that. Let them do that. They want to mess up, let them do that, okay? Let them do that. That's not our thing. Okay, we got enough going on, okay? Just let it be. All right? Just let it go. Anyway, we're going to talk also about we got a few other things under that. We're going to look at who actually you've been hearing a lot about, especially in the last couple of years, we've been hearing a lot about Hamas. Excuse me, Hamas. We've been hearing a whole lot about Hamas, and you either going to be a Zionist or you're going to be part of the Hamas folks. One of the two. You pick a side. You better not be part of the Hamas people, because they are anti-Israel. How dare you even suggest that you got to be one of the two? You got to be one of the two. Pick a side. Pick a side. And there's no any side. You got to pick a side. Well, we know what Zionism is about and all of that, right? We've talked about that and what they're about and what they stand for. And then Hamas, they're the opposite, supposedly. Well, we're going to look at the history, a little bit of history, because this is a problem that should have been eliminated a long time ago. And I'm sorry, I'm done with it all. So don't expect me to pick any side on this. Okay. Not at all. So I got some videos I'm going to share with y'all on that. We're also going to talk about the Department of Education this week. Was it this week or last week? Well, it became official that the Department of Education, the paperwork is signed. They are dismantling it. Well, there's some, and a lot of people are getting, understandably upset about it and all that. People who had a financial stake in it, never mind the kids, but the people who had a financial stake in it, they upset, they mad, so but there's a history with them too, because we're finding out that there was some money laundering going on with them. So we're going to talk about that and find out a little bit more about that. The 92% striking again. They keep striking out. They keep striking out. I got a few more examples for you about the 92% members. They just, they just keep on. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to get into the latest in AI and robotics. We're going to talk about that and some of the things that's been going on in that world. I mean, every day you should be following this. You should be following all things AI and robotics. I'm telling you, because when this thing drops, as it's dropping now, it's a lot of people are going to be impacted. A lot of people. And you cannot afford to allow yourself to be distracted by any silliness at all. On my timeline, I have worked very hard to keep the foolishness and the silliness off of it. I said, this is all I want on here. Don't put no NBA on there. I like sport, but I don't want to see no NBA. I don't want any distractions. I don't care about what's going on in the entertainment field. All I care about are these things, and that's it. And I'm telling you, it has kept me focused on this stuff. Anyway, and John, stick around, okay? But the only thing I ask for you, buddy, don't crowd up don't just keep spamming the what you call it, the chat, okay? You could speak, but don't turn it into spam, because if so, you gonna get the boot on this. So, but I do encourage you to stick around. He says he did a Nazi salute. No, he didn't. He didn't. John. There's no. He didn't do a Nazi salute. Okay. No. If that's a Nazi salute, this is a Nazi salute. Okay. So no, you just don't like him, and that's okay. We're not here to get you to like him or love him or even love me for that matter, but we're going to stand on truth, okay? That's what we're going to do. So I encourage you to stick around, okay? But don't spam our chat here. That's all I ask, because if you do, you're going to go this way. And that ain't no Nazi salute. That's me pointing, okay? Okay. I said one thing. Yes, he did, okay? In the theater of your mind, I guess that's the truth. But thankfully, we're not in the theater of your mind, because I don't want to buy a ticket. And I don't think anybody else does either, at least not here. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyway, so glad that all of you guys are here, and welcome. Really appreciate that. We had made a very significant announcement yesterday, and we talked about something that we have been wanting to do for a very long time over on Samba Tree. Okay, let's get rid of the people here, because we ain't playing tonight. I told y'all, don't spam. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get hit. Okay, so we got rid of the people. See, just that quick. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. But anyway, Yes. Yesterday or was the day before, we posed a question. We asked you, if we were to do a class on Chat GPT, how many of y'all would be interested in it? And but it's a simple class covering the basics, enough to get your feet wet and to get you to be constructive and do some things with it. If you were interested, would you be of interest of it? And quite a few of you guys actually said, yeah, you would. And so, like I said, it don't take me. I don't let paint dry. Okay. I don't let paint dry on ideas. I gotta, I'm like, you better, if I'm gonna do it, I better go in and jump on this. And that's exactly what we did. So, so one of the things we've been wanting to do for a long time over on Samba Tree is to make it also into a educational hub as well, because on Samba Tree, as we focus on herbs and things of that nature, health and wellness, but, and we also do a lot of education, as it pertains to a lot of the videos that we've done in the past, especially during the whole COVID thing. Nicole and I were doing a ton of educational videos on things to do to take care of yourself and all of that. And we still do those things. And so anyway, we wanted to kind of consolidate that into a singular kind of entity, where it'll be a lot easier for people to access that. And truth be told, there's a lot of work that goes into those things too. And so what we did was we decided to create something, and we just call it Samba University. So the way you access it, it's very simple. You just go to sambatree.com, and then right here, you see where it says Samba University. Just click on that, and it will take you straight to the university. Samba University, where class is always in session. That's right. So, yep. And that's where we're heading, and the class ain't really in right now. We're just kind of getting people to sign up, but I wanted to show you just where this is going very quickly. And so what we're doing is, as you know, right now we got Samba University. Our first class is going to be Chat GPT for grown folks. I couldn't use old folks. Okay. I had to make us look cool. Okay. I had to make us look a little cool. I couldn't say old folks. I couldn't say over the hill folks. Okay. I didn't. No. I just, we grown. Okay. And it's okay to be grown. Okay. It's okay to be older too. Okay. But Chat GPT for grown folks. And this class is going to be on the 13th of next month, the 13th of April. All right. And so you have a little time. And right now the price is $24.99. All right. That's between now and the 30th. After the 30th meaning I'll change that to be 31st. Okay. So after the 31st, I'll say after the 31st, the price goes up to $30. All right. Now, what are we going to cover? It's going to be the basics. So if you're someone that feels a little overwhelmed when it comes to technology and all of that, well, listen, you will be in the right place and you will be in the best of hands. Okay. Because I completely understand and I get you. All right. But trust me when I say this is a technology that you going to need to learn. You're going to need to know. Okay. Because a lot of us are very used to just doing, well, if I want to find out something, I'll just find out on Google. I'll just do a quick Google search. Well, that's not enough anymore. All right. It's going to be, this, when you get the introduction of it, you're going to see why this is something that you should know. All right. Totally revolutionary for real. And I'm not just blowing this up. I mean, it's really something. So anyway, so we're going to learn about how, we're going to learn exactly what Chat GPT is. We're going to do a whole, just quick, the whole thing's going to be about 2 hours. Okay. About 2 hours long. And that really depends on the questions and stuff that we get from people. It's going to be about 2 hours long. We're going to talk about what Chat GPT is. I'll talk a little bit about the differences between Chat GPT versus Grok versus Perplexity versus some of the other ones that are out there, Google, Gemini. We'll just talk a little bit about the differences and all of that. And, we're not but Chat GPT to me is a good entry point, because once you learn this, then all those other ones, they operate pretty much the same. All right. So you'll learn about that. And then we'll get into how to create your own Chat GPT account. All right. We'll walk you through that, show you how to do that. And then we're going to get into how to, it's going to be a lot of hands-on activity. It's not going to be me just running my mouth the whole time. We're going to be talking, but at the same time, you're going to be doing. So it's going to be like we're just sitting in the lab and we're just doing it together. So we're going to walk you through, how to write a prompt. What are some good ways to write, simple prompts to get what you want, right? We're going to get into, asking you. We'll have an email go out to people, who do sign up, asking what are some of the things that you would like for me to cover, and then we'll incorporate that into the class as well, right? Let's see, covering different tips, of course, on how to do searches. We'll cover things like I got people out here who say they want to write a book. How can I use ChatGPT to, let's say, to put my thoughts together so I can put together a book or a flyer or whatever. I mean, we'll even touch on how you can use this to simplify your business if you have a business. We may touch on investing. What are some good ways to use this to give me investment? We'll cover the whole gamut, and but again, it's going to be very basic, step by step. And again, it's about 2 hours. And if you, by chance, if you're not able to make it, that's okay. We will make it available for you to download at any time afterwards. Okay. We're not offering that right now, but that will be something in the future. But if you want the opportunity to ask questions in a live format, I would highly recommend you to do it now, because by doing it now, you'll get that. But once you're watching it, the recorded version, there ain't gonna be nobody you can ask. I mean, I may, if you email me, when I get the opportunity, I may answer you, but it's best if you're there live. So make sure you try to get there live so you can be able to ask, whatever questions that you may have. And like I said, again, it's going to be very simple. When you're finished, I can almost guarantee you're going to know pretty much how to handle business on this. Okay. And it's fun. And it's going to be very interactive. And like I said, this is going to be next month. So we're giving people time to sign up and all that. We already got some people signing up already. So there you go. So that's our first class that we're going to be offering. Okay. When you click on it and when you purchase it, what you're going to get is your receipt, obviously. And then you'll get an image. It's going to say, click here to download the image. All you're getting is an image that says basically, hey, we got you. You know what I mean? And just keep watching your email, because we'll have some further instructions come as we get closer to that date. Okay. But once you purchase it, you're already registered. Okay. There's nothing else you got to do. And I'll put announcements out there and let you know. I'll even email those and let you know, hey, listen, this is what we got coming up and all that. So, you're fine. Once you purchase it, you're already locked in. All right. So that's that. The other classes that we got coming up is digital. Some of y'all been asking about AI digital artwork. And, we've been getting people been asking about that. I don't know if y'all checked out the thumbnail for this one. I was playing around. Took a Norman Rockwell painting and put my big old face on there. And it came out pretty good, actually. It got me looking a little thick, but, whatever. But yeah, so we're going to have a class at a later date on the 101 of AI, using AI to create digital artwork. We got a lot of artists out there, and, just using your creativity and how to use that in an AI space to create all these things that you have been thinking about, putting your ideas in the digital AI space and all of that. And we're going to go through the basics of that and, different commands and stuff that you can use and all that. We'll cover all the basics. And again, once you come out on the other side, you're going to know exactly what you're doing, and you're going to be putting out some good stuff too. All right. So that's another one we got coming up. And then this one here, same thing with music. I have many people asking me all the time, oh, what's that music, or who does that music and all that. Most of the music you hear on this broadcast is AI, not with the exception of what you just heard. But yeah, but Most of the music that we play on this platform is AI music. And, and now we have an opportunity where we can teach you and show you how you can do it. So that's another one that we have coming up as well. Nicole is going to be offering classes as well as it pertains to herbs and wellness and things like that. And those will be classes. And again, I would say no more than an hour, 2 hours. You might have one that may be 3 hours, but we want to keep them short and keep them extremely affordable for people. So keep your eyes on this page. When you go on sambatree.com, just know that you got Samba University now. And you can go there, and we'll be making announcements anytime there's a new class that's added or whatever, and you'll be able to download stuff and all of that. Some I may just go straight to, you can just download it. So I'm very excited about this, and because finally we can, start getting into this area of education and offering that to the people. So really, so if you're interested, it's getting hot when you start seeing these little bugs show up, gnats come up. But anyway, but yeah, there you go. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Again, you just go to sambatree.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out all the other things that we got, all the other goodies and stuff that we have here too. Everything from your herbs, your wellness, your health stuff, powders, you got your bitters, you got all that stuff, your sea moss, you got all of that. Make sure you check out sambatree.com for all your health and wellness needs. Go to the website again, one more time, sambatree.com. All right, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be talking about today in this broadcast. All right, so let's go here. So, yeah, let's get into the Tesla, folks. I had to get rid of a couple of people because they were already showing up again. Number one, let me just say this. If you 40-something years, if you are in the boomer class and you out here cheering on the destruction of people who just simply bought the car because they just drive in the car, that's what they wanted, and you're cheering on destroying their property, you a whole fool. Let me say that again. You are a whole fool. Okay? And you crazy. I don't care what I just don't like what he's destroying the. No, you destroying people's cars. You doing more damage than what he's doing. What you say he's doing. How you gonna accuse someone he's damaging the country? You see what he's doing right now. You saw that one person he damaging. No, you damaging people's cars. Ain't got nothing. Did you hear? It was this one lady driving in the car. She's driving in the car with her child, and then someone smashed her window. There was a black man. There was two stories, two different stories, both of them involving black men. One black man, he was taking his, it was a family relative or whatever, to the doctors. Parked the car outside of the office. He comes back and they tore up, they put paint all on his car and put Nazi symbols all on it. There was another black man, this other black man I'm thinking about, and I'm not making any of this stuff up. If I had the time, I'll just show you the video after video off it, but whatever. I mean, they're nuts. There's another black man, he said he driving in his car and it was someone like, pow, shot the window out with a BB gun. Yeah, I thought they were bulletproof, but I guess that's with the truck. But yeah, they showed it on the news. Someone took a gun and a BB gun and shot at this guy. This ain't, and all the people that they're showing, most of the people they're showing, these are boomers. Most of them are. And what they don't get is you want the destruction of this company. If you have a 401k, I can almost guarantee you that your 401k includes some of Tesla's stock. And if that's the case, you're cheering on the destruction of your own 401k, your retirement. You're crazy. That's my point. You're crazy. Let me get to some of the video, a couple of videos I want to show you of some of these people out here. They just nuts. Let me go to here. Let me show you this first one here. And but he's a Nazi. I'm telling you, he's a Nazi. Define that. Define that for me, please. Better yet, don't. Oh gosh, man, I'm telling you, it's you know, and it's very disappointing to me because again, I keep mentioning this over and over again, is because I was always raised to believe that we were always going to have this class of people above us, the elder class, right? They're going to be the most wise and give you the truths and stuff like that and kind of guide you. Even as you get older, let's say if you're 30 years old, you're going to have people older than you that are going to be able to guide you and direct. But what we're seeing in this life is that not all of them, but there's many of them, they're acting just as crazy as some of the younger people. And it's just not, look at this guy here. Case in point, let me show you this one. Let me show you this one. Let's check this guy out. This is what I'm talking about. Here's this black dude here. Like I said again, this ain't our fight, y'all. What are you doing? What is you doing? Have y'all seen this one? Just keep looking at it. This dude put together, I don't know, some kind of Ghostbusters I don't know what this thing is. And this ain't the only car that he's ramming, Tesla that he's rammed. There are other Teslas that he was ramming all throughout whatever city this was. Well, anyway, they ended up, it would have been pretty easy to catch this dude. But they did catch him. And I'm looking at this vehicle. I hope and pray that ain't gas in the gas can in front. Was this dude trying to do a Hamas? But this is what I'm saying. Why? You so pissed off at someone that you're going to take it out on other people. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. None. And the fact that we have politicians encouraging this kind of behavior, anybody that's encouraging it, you need to be put in prison. This is crazy, man. Anyway, that's not the only one. I got another one here. Let's see here. It was another one that I had here. Did y'all see the one? Do I even show that one? There was another grown person. This is what I'm saying. They want to justify it. He's a Nazi though. Okay, so that was a Nazi salute. Okay, so that was a Nazi salute, right? Okay. All right, so tell me, as soon as I pull this up, I want you to tell me what kind of salute this is. I'm a bit curious here. What kind of salute is this that this guy is doing? I'm curious. What kind of salute this is? We're gonna let it play out a couple of times. What kind of salute is this? This man has reached into his buttocks, and what's disgusting to me is that he had enough extra hanging around back there that he could do paint the dots with the corn chips in his butthole on the car. How is that even possible? Who walks around with that amount of brown cake in your butt cheeks? Who walks around with that? I'm just saying, who does this? But I'm to believe that somehow you the one that makes sense in all of this. I'm to believe that somehow that you speaking for all of us. No, you're not. No, you're not. But this is what's going on. And this ain't the only one. Someone told me there was someone else that did the same thing. Reached all the way in their cheeks and pulled whatever out. Pulled out the brown crayon or whatever they did. And they did the whole paint. Look at my drawings. Why they smell though? It ain't a brown crayon that you use. But anyway, but this is what I'm trying to say. It's not even for people to sit back and to actually rationalize this. It makes no sense at all. I don't care what you feel or what you think about. This ain't even about everything I've showed, and I just literally showed you just now. I don't care what you think about Elon Musk. I'm not here to tell you that he's the man, he's our savior. I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that at all. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at your actions and saying, how does that a better response to what you say you're seeing? It makes no sense. And for people to be out here cheering this on, because see, we can look at the crazies who are the foot soldiers that are doing this stuff. But the people who are out here cheering this on and saying, yeah, keep doing it. Yeah, you need to keep doing this. You just as crazy. So you're going to encourage the destruction of people who just minding their business, driving their car. You're going to take out your frustration on them. Someone said he probably ate at Taco Bell. Teen Truth, some of these people don't even need to do all that. Some people are just nasty. There are people out here that are just disgusting and nasty, and they just do that. They do stuff like that. They're nasty. Teen Truth, the other day I went to this place. I came across, oh man, finally found a decent tea place, you know, that sells tea, iced tea or blended teas and all that. Finally found one. And, you know, you put in your order, and I put in my order and gave them, you know, told them what I want or whatever. And then they call you out, right? They'll say, okay, whoever ordered the sunrise or whatever, you name it, whatever it is, right? And so I'm just sitting back there waiting for them to call my stuff, right? And, you know, there was people out there, you know, there was people, I'm sitting at a table, but there were people who were like waiting at the, you know, if you've been to Starbucks, you know, you got some people who stand, you got other people that sit down, right? Well, anyway, as they would call out people, they would go up and get their thing and keep it moving. Well, they called out my drink. They didn't say my name, but they just called out my drink. But I didn't assume that was my drink. So these two white girls came up and they picked up the drink. They picked up my drink, which I didn't know it was at the time. And I'm sitting here watching the whole thing. The girl picked up the drink. She put her straw in it. It's like, talking. And drank out of it. And then she drank a little bit, and then she looked at it like I could tell she was like, oop, this ain't mine. And then I saw her whispering to her little girlfriend or whatever, and then she sat it down. So I was like, okay, let me just sit here and just watch how this plays out. And so a few minutes, I said, because that's not my drink. That's not my drink. Well, anyway, then they called, the lady came back and said, hey, here's your drinks or whatever. The two girls took out and they bolted out of there, right? Meanwhile, my drink sitting up there with the straw. She didn't even say nothing. This girl literally put a straw, I don't know where her hands been, put her dirty hands on the straw, put it in there, poked it in there, drank out of it. Oh, they ain't mine. Let me sit it up there. And I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I said, these two girls came and drank. I said, that's nasty. I said, can you replace it? She was like, sure. This is what I'm saying. People are, I'm telling you, the amount of faith and trust that we put in some of these people that serve our food, I'm telling you, you know, there's some things I don't even want to know. I might start wearing some bags on my hand or something when I'm shaking people's hand. But people are nasty out here. These people digging up. But my point is, you know, I got off track a little bit. But I'm saying whatever switch has been flipped, we're seeing it now. People taking all their frustration on this stuff and not realizing that they're the ones that are doing the most destruction. And you crazy. You are 110% crazy, and do not come in my face or in my space and try to justify that. You will not win. You won't. Okay? Because I'm not lowering myself to understanding that foolishness. Okay? Anyway, let's move on here. Got another story here, unrelated to that. This is a woman who, you know, again, she gonna keep her mind straight, right? This is a nurse. She's in the UK. It's a black woman who, she's doing the nursing thing in the hospital. Well, I'm gonna let you listen to her story and her experience and what she went through, doing the nursing thing here. Let's take a listen to what she had to say here.
Yes, I'm still traumatized with the situation. The fact that I could be facing suspension, my career coming to an end simply because I refused to refer to this patient as a female, as a she or miss. Yes, on the medical record, this was a male patient under urology. On the bedside, it was just written his name, not miss or anything. So on the first glance, when I looked at him, I was like, wow. He was a very big man, very huge, about 6 foot tall. He literally stood up and began to throw racial slurs at me and said, "Do not call me mister. I'm a miss. I'm a woman."
Hold on for a second now. She said this dude about 6 something. Okay. And she said, look, and to top it off, she said he started throwing racial slurs at her. Oh, it's over at that point. It's all the way over at that point. It's ma'am. All right, go back. Let her finish.
Throw racial slurs at me and said, "Do not call me mister. I'm a miss. I'm a woman." When I came back the following shift, I was told you can't work anywhere else. From now on, you can't do bank shifts. You're restricted from doing anything from HR point of view because you have deliberately misgendered the patient. I was in shock.
How's she gonna do her job? How you gonna do your job as a nurse, as a doctor, when you have to pretend that the patient is someone else? I mean, do you understand? This is what I'm saying. This is the logic this is the bizarre world that we live in right now. This individual is going to a hospital to get care. And in order for me to work, that's like, okay, let me back up. That is like me driving my Honda to a Tesla space, a Tesla repair shop, and saying, hey, I got the latest Tesla, the Y edition or whatever is coming out right now. And you can see it right here. This is a Tesla. You think you can, do what you got to do to get this, and it won't charge. I mean, I've taken this thing to every charging station that has Tesla on it, and it won't charge. I keep putting the charge thing where they saying the gas thing is, but that ain't true. That's not a gas. That's where I charge my car, my Tesla. You imagine the response. What do you think the mechanic is going to say, and what they're going to do when I come up there and say something like that? Well, the first thing they're going to say was, listen, I can't fix this car because you're not, at the end of the, you could call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, that's a Honda. You need to go down the street to Honda and let them fix it. You can claim whatever it is that you want to claim, but that's a Honda. Right? So if we can understand that analogy, why all of a sudden we got to start playing around with these other ones? It literally, this is the world we live in right now. And we are training our children to act accordingly and just to accept this. No, you do not accept it. And no, you got to be the one that has to keep it real. You must keep it real. You can be respectful, but you got to also keep it real with people. A lot of these people, they want to live in the imaginative, but that's it. I hope I hope it works out for her, for real. But yeah, she needs to continue to stand on her square on that, because she can't do her job without it. Just imagine, look how far this thing goes. Let's say someone comes in there and they got cancer. Right? They got cancer, like you could see the cancer. But the person now, they could say, well, I identify as a healthy person. What you supposed to say? Well, because you identify as a healthy person, I don't see cancer. I don't see cancer. La 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 la. I don't see cancer. No 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 no. We're just gonna treat you like this is where bizarre land we're getting into now. It's crazy. So yeah, no, you ain't crazy and I ain't crazy. All right. So we gotta keep it real. And like I said again, hats off to this woman here. Let's move on to the next story here. Now this gentleman here, he's talking about something that, again, you could say what you want about Trump. You could say whatever, but what we know is at least the polling data is showing that most Americans, they said that the popular vote is even higher since the one during the elections, because people are clearly liking, a bulk of what he's doing. Now, again, I'm going to be very clear with you. On this platform, I did not vote for him, nor did I vote for Kamala. Okay, I didn't vote for either. I did a write-in, because at the end of the day, politics is politics to me. And we'll talk about, I think I addressed that in our health broadcast that I did earlier today, with his pick for the person that's leading the CDC. She's right in the pocket of what's his face, the globalists, right in the pocket of that. And so she's pro-vaccine and everything else. So I already knew that was going to be the case. So I ain't fault for that. But, apparently a lot of people are. But anyway, one of the things that they are working towards is actually dismantling the IRS. I don't, now anybody that's out here that's trying to defend that, I mean, you a whole fool. Again, you a whole fool. How you like, no, we want the IRS. What? They trying to take it down. And what they're doing is they're trying to replace it with this is a fair tax act, and this was going to charge like a single tax across the board for people who make $150,000 and less. They're going to eliminate the taxes. You ain't going to have to pay anything. This is the direction that they're saying that they're heading in. And you got people saying that, we got to take this down. How dare you take away taxes? What? So anyway, I found this video is a brother that's breaking it down and what that would mean if this thing goes through. This is a bill that's kind of been hanging around in the halls of injustice since 2023. And so now with Trump in office, it definitely has a clear shot of actually, becoming a real thing. So let's take a listen to how he's going to break this down for us.
If I told you the biggest scam ever pulled on the American people is finally coming to an end. The Trump administration has put the IRS on the chopping block, and it's about fucking time. Income tax, gone. Payroll taxes, gone. Estate tax, gone. The IRS, gone. This isn't speculation. Congress just introduced the Fair Tax Act of 2025, and it's about to flip everything upside down. Instead of taxing your paycheck even before you see it, the bill abolishes federal income tax and replaces it with the national sales tax, letting you keep your money. Why is this a game changer for the economy? This will boost economic growth. No more income tax draining your wealth before you even spend it. More money in your hands equals more spending, investing, and business creation. This will empower entrepreneurs because no more payroll taxes suffocating small businesses means hiring just got easier and starting a business just became way more profitable. This stops double taxation as well, because right now your money gets taxed when you earn it, when you invest it, and when you pass it on. But not everyone is happy about this. The Democratic Party doesn't want to lose federal control over you, and you better believe special interests are scrambling to fight this. Why? because this bill takes power away from them and puts it back into your hands. What's the biggest takeaway for you? America was never meant to be a tax farm. The power to create businesses, transact in commerce, and build wealth is a constitutional right, not a privilege granted by the IRS. If you're serious about learning how to legally protect your money, eliminate unnecessary taxes, and structure your wealth like the top 1%, I absolutely love providing high-level value in my consultations. In the meantime,
there you go. So he did a good breakdown of that and what that would mean to pretty much everybody. This is the direction that they're heading towards. And you don't have to love Trump, and have a Make America Great Again hat to get behind something like that. I absolutely would. If Biden did something like this, I would be like, come on, let's go. I may have to carry him a little bit and show him how to walk. But if that's the direction he was willing to go in, I'll be like, hey, come on, let's go. But he chose not to. Anyway, so that is something. And then we're going to circle back to that point as far as why these groups are out here and they don't want that. They want that tax money to come in, to continue to come in. Well, that connects us to that America stuff, right? The American tax, the thing that they were just passing money all over, American aid or whatever it was called. It ties into that. We're going to get into that in a moment. But for now, let's kind of turn the page and let's go into politics here real quick here. All right. So just give me a moment here. I have been for the longest, I have been sitting back and I've noticed I've been listening to different people talk about Hamas and Hamas is this, and you got Team Hamas versus Team Israel and all of that, and then it's going back and forth or whatever. Well, I'm not Team Israel, never will be, don't want to be, period. So that's a whole wash for me. That ain't gonna happen here, okay? And we can go down through a ton of reasons why that's the case, okay? So we ain't doing that here. But do not assume that just because I'm not in support of that I'm automatically I'm automatically Team Hamas, because I'm not that either. And when I sit back and I look at, when I see some, there black creatives that are out here, the podcasters or whatever, who are very vocal about Hamas, and they bring up all the bad things that happen. Of course, nobody in their right mind wants to see babies blown up. Nobody in their right mind wants to see the innocent being slaughtered and all of that. Of course, you want that to stop. And, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. So I can say that and really mean it, that, yes, I would want it to stop. Just like I want violence like that, the government-sponsored, sanctioned violence to stop all over the place, period. So it's not just there. It's all over the world. But since we're talking about this, I can say wholeheartedly, yeah, I want it to stop. Absolutely. And Israel needs to go sit all the way down. Okay, so that's where my stance is if you want the basics of it. But it goes on. See, I don't stop there. Because I'm sitting up here and I'm like, okay, you got all of these different, you got Israel, they got all their connections, right? But then you got the Palestinian people who are a mixture of Muslim and Christians. See, a lot of people, they just assume that all Palestinian people are Muslims, and they're not. They're a mixture of Muslims and Christians, and I'm sure you got people who are neither, but for the most part, when it comes to religion, it's a mixture of the two. And it's been amazing for me to sit back and to watch how Christians who, based on their belief system, because they are Christians, right? By default, they are Zionists. And it's funny to sit into when you listen to some of these Christians that will say, I'm a Christian, but I'm anti-Zionist. And it's like, you are believing that there's going to be a new Jerusalem, right? Yeah, you're Zionists, okay? You can't just kind of itemize things out just because, no, you're a Zionist. And it may not be in the flavor of the people that's there now, but you wholeheartedly believe in the narrative that there is a a select people that God has chosen above all people or whatever. And to a certain measure, there are many people in your belief system who do embrace that ideology that the people that are in, the state of Israel are the chosen. And so there are lots of Christians all over the world who buy into this. And so it's amazing to me to sit back and to watch these Christians support Zionism, but then when you tell them that you do know that Israel, when they're doing these bombings, they're bombing up Christian churches and Christians are actually dying. And their response is usually something like, well, wrong place, wrong time, that kind of thing. It's very it's very insane. You know what I mean? They're willing to allow their people to die for the sake of Zionism, and so, so you see that. And then, but then on the other side, you have the Muslims that make up the Palestinian people. And you have all these Muslim-based nations that are surrounding this area. They can't mount up anything. They can't come to any real defense of these Palestinian people. They can't, or they won't. I tend to lean on they won't. When you really start digging, now I really do not have the time in this video, you're going to find that some of these Muslim, rich families, or Arabic, I should say, if you start looking at the Arabic, some of them actually have Jewish roots. They do. You go back far enough, some of them are actually Jewish. Like I said, again, I don't have time to get into that, but it is there. So I've came across a few videos because I wanted to show you just how these people, I wanted to know, I wanted to show you, be able to present some videos where these people themselves, I'm talking about Jewish people themselves, are saying that Hamas, well, we helped put that together. And here's a couple of videos. Here's about a total of 3 videos. I may have a 4th one, but let me start sharing you with some of these videos here. And don't just take them out. Don't go by what I'm saying. Let's look at what they're saying. Let's go ahead and take a listen here. Let me not blow your ears out. Hold on.
Everyone knows that what happened on October 7th was an Israeli setup. Everyone knows it.
What? Look at him smile.
It was an Israeli setup. Everyone knows that what happened on October 7th was an Israeli setup. Everyone knows it.
What?
So are you saying Benjamin Netanyahu deliberately boosted Hamas to try to prevent a Palestinian state?
Yeah, sure. He deliberately and systematically even told, is on record, whoever wants to avoid the threat of a two-state solution has to support my policy of paying protection money to the Hamas.
So what we did, with the permission of our Prime Minister, is to let Qatar to transfer a huge amount of money in cash, probably more than $1.4 billion. By doing it, we increased the power of Hamas. We did everything in order to make sure that Hamas will go on controlling Gaza, and Palestinian Authority will control the West Bank, so they will fight each other.
Netanyahu maintains the Qatar money was to avoid a humanitarian catastrophe. Having helped to build up Hamas, Netanyahu has now vowed to destroy it.
He fed the beast, and it exploded in our face. If you base your national security strategy solely on force, then you need to win 24/7 forever.
Let's move on to the next one.
I rise in opposition to this resolution, not because I am taking sides and picking who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, but I'm looking at this more from the angle of being a United States citizen, an American, and I think resolutions like this really do us great harm. In many ways, what's happening in the Middle East, and in particular with Gaza right now, we have some moral responsibility for both sides in a way, because we provide help and funding for both Arab nations and Israel. And so we definitely have a moral responsibility, and especially now today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first, indirectly and directly through Israel, help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CAA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets.
Yep, he took you to school on that. He took you to school on that. Let's go ahead. Oh, someone asked. I thought the Palestinians originally from the ancient Philistines. No, that's not true. If anything, the Palestinian people are the real descendants of the people in that region. The Jews that are in that region today, most of them came by way of Europe. They're not born and bred there. You know, they came from Europe. They didn't, you know, but those Palestinian people, they've been there, you know, from jump. They were there when what had happened was when the Jews that were in Germany, you had many families in Germany, Jewish families. This is during the rise of Nazism in Germany. And basically, long story short, they cut a deal with the help of the Royal Crown, the British Royal Crown, and said, hey, listen, we need you to work with Germany to get us a spot of land in what we're calling ancient Israel, right? And but right now there's Palestinian people there. Well, the Royal Crown went and cut some deal with the Germans and all of that, and basically. And I'm talking about Nazi Germans, okay? Not just regular Germans. I'm talking about Nazi Germans. I actually showed y'all a coin, because this is what I'm telling you, everything that happened here. Part of that deal, part of that package, when they went with Germany with this significant group of Jews, was that not only were they going to send these Jews to this place where it was mostly Palestinian people, or Palestine, right? That's what it was called then. Not only were they just going to send them there, but they was also going to give them land and all of that, and give them money. They gave them bank accounts. And on the coin, on one side of the coin is the swastika. On the other side is the menorah. You can look this up. On one side is the swastika. On the other side is the menorah. This was a coin that was minted in Germany. Right? And so, anyway, these Jews got there. They all of a sudden, they were like, okay, well, we're going to work together with the Palestinian people, and we're going to live side by side. But, you know, that didn't last long. And long story short, all of a sudden, the Palestinian people who were there for umpteen thousands of years or whatever, all of a sudden they got uprooted, and, you know, and now all of a sudden they're the enemies. Now all of a sudden Hamas is running the show, which Hamas was really, from what we're learning, was largely a Jewish invention. So this is why you see like on these college campuses, they're like, literally using this invention by the same team to tear down these schools all throughout America. Because most people really don't give two craps about that. They don't. But we're hearing this being rammed in our faces over and over again. Oh, we got to do something about these college campuses, and we got to make it stricter that you cannot say anything about the nation of Israel. You can't put your mouth on it. So what did they do? They called in their Hamas puppets that are bought and paid for to play the bad guy, and then you got the good guy, and have them going back and forth and fighting and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, the whole school suffers as a result of it. And then what follows immediately after that? What follows immediately? Here comes the law. Now we got to write laws where thou shalt not put your mouth on Israel. But they had to create this whole drama fest in order to get to that point, because most people really don't care. If they would have just let things be as they were, most people wouldn't even pay attention to it. So they had to agitate. They had to create this stuff, this one side versus the other side stuff. They're doing the same thing with Democrats and Republicans. It's the same thing. These people out here that are torching these cars and stuff like that, you think these are regular Americans? Yeah, they're Americans. They may were born here and all this stuff, but these people are getting paid to do this stuff. Most people don't care. They don't care that deeply about stuff like it. Don't even, because it makes no sense. Usually, if you don't like the guy that's in office, you vote him out. That's usually how that works. You don't burn up cars of people who had nothing to do with it. And chances are a lot of these cars are getting burned up are cars that are owned by people who voted for Kamala. So they're eating their own. So this is why why you think we're so invested in health and wellness here. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people are not well mentally. They're not. But anyway, let's move on, because I thought that was interesting there. So when you're hearing all this Hamas stuff and all that, just know, y'all, this is something that they cooked up. And it's not real. All right, let's go on and move on to the next thing here. We're going to listen to CORI Bush, and she's talking to Jamal Bowman. Both of them are former Congress people that both got kicked out because they were not going to ride with the Jewish narrative. And so they got kicked out. They got voted out. But still, that doesn't mean they're straight, because Jamal Bowman got on CNN just recently and called like this person up here, well, he's a Nazi, talking about now here you got Elon Musk, who's considered the richest man in the world, and you're literally filling out your own defamation suit. He called this man a Nazi. He called him some other things or whatever. Elon Musk tweeted, he said, okay, I'm done with this. I'll see you in court. All he said was defamation suit incoming. How you gonna go on national news and say something like that? And you don't think there's not going to be any repercussions? But anyway, well, he's going to deal with it. But anyway, this is them talking about one particular plan that was in place when they were in office. Take a listen to this. Let me see. Okay, let's turn up.
Here that there were going to be two separate bills, and we had already had those conversations. But when it was clear, remember, the investment kept going down, 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 and we were like, no, because we need this investment. We need, like you said, the money. That was more money for lead pipes than what we had. I think it was
3.9 trillion. Did it start at 3.9 and go down, or did it?
We were at, I thought we were at 10, and then it went down to 6, and then down to 3, then it went down to 1.7, I believe.
So they were going to push a bill that reaches as high as 10, not billion, not million, $1 trillion, $10 trillion to fight climate change. $10 trillion. This is the kind of laws that were in place, ready to be pushed forward if Kamala had won the election. $10 trillion bill to fight climate change. $10 trillion. And you know that money, that was just a whole nother situation where that money, we would never have seen the results of that. $10 trillion. Anyway, let me move on. This is speaking of Cori Bush here. Cori Bush, her husband, and she's one of the 92%, was charged by the Department of Justice with wire fraud on allegedly defrauding the government by lying about PPP loans. Another one of these PPP Negroes that thought they could get away with it. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read part of it here. Here's a new story right here. Courtney Merritt's 46 of St. Louis, Missouri, was charged today by federal indictment with 2 counts of wire fraud for allegedly filing fraudulent applications with the SBA in 2020 and 2021 that allowed him to collect more than $20,000 in government funds under the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program and Paycheck Protection Program. And they go on and talk about, according to the indictment, Merritt's received an $8,500 loan from the SBA for a moving business he operated that he called Vetted Couriers. In the application he submitted for Vetted Couriers, Merritt's certified that his business had 6 employees and had generated $32,000 in gross revenue between the January 30th, 2019 and January 30th, 2020. On July the 8th, 2020, Merritt submitted another application, and it goes on. Basically, it's the same game. It's the same game. And so, yeah, they caught up to him. I told y'all, I said, listen, this is why you got numbers of black folks. It doesn't make sense why black folks are angry at the fact that all this waste is being found, because who doesn't want to save money? Who doesn't want to have more money in their pocket? But I told you, the people that you're going to see impacted at a higher rate with all these firings and all this waste and stuff, you're going to see a lot of black faces come through here. Because these black folks thought they can get into this system and they can do like everybody else, and that's it. And guess what? You're going to get the same treatment that everybody else getting. You can cry racism and all that all you want, but nah, it's nope, it doesn't work that way. So she's getting her wake-up call. Her and her husband getting their wake-up call. Here's another one. This is... this is one here. I thought this is a good video. This is a young lady who is breaking down. She's doing the whole, a lot of people were losing their minds over the Department of Education is closing down. Oh, Lord, we gonna have no education. Ah, Lord. So she's breaking down the truth of what that really means. So let's go ahead and play this video here and let's take a listen.
The dismantling of the Department of Education. Let me go ahead and break it down.
Come on, talk about it.
You got a whole bunch of people who think that these kids who don't get food at home will no longer get food at school because there is no DOE. First of all, it's the Department of Agriculture that handles the school meals. So there's still no child that's going to be left hungry. The next thing that I heard was that, oh my God, they're going to get rid of the Pell Grant and all of these other things so that HBCUs are going to suffer and kids who can't afford school aren't going to be able to go to school. Those instances, that subset of issues is going to be moved over to the Department of Treasury, and they're going to handle your new Pell Grants and your student aid and things like that. And then they'll say things like, oh my God, well, they're not going to fund disabilities or the IEP programs. That's being moved over to the Department of Health and Human Services. So if more black people knew that, we wouldn't have this uproar about the DOE going. And then let me also tell y'all that the DOE only pays for...
Thank you for touching on that.
Yeah, the DOE only pays for 10% of K through 12 schools. Like, it's only 10% of the funding. If you genuinely believe that your state cannot recover 10% of funds to get to the DOE, to give to the school system, which they already barely give money to, sweetheart, you are sadly mistaken. And at that point, that's when you have to look at your elected officials and see what are they voting on in these budgets. What are they asking for every fiscal year? Because now with Doge, we're seeing that we're paying millions of dollars to watch shrimp run on treadmills.
There you go. There you go. She broke it down. Well, let's go ahead and continue on that line there. I'm going to skip some things here. I have another video here of someone that's breaking it down even more, talking about, because she asked the question, where is all that money going? Well, let's take a look at that. See, these are the kind of conversations you got folks that don't want to get into this. They don't want to get into this. They much rather buy into the rhetoric, and that's it. But let's get into this as soon as I can find this video. Here it is right here. This is another short video here. This is someone explaining how the Department of Education is a money laundering operation. Let's take a listen to this video.
So is the DOGE program targeted at these bureaucrats?
Yes.
And so what can you expect?
Well, let's look at the Department of Education. The Federal Department of Education has a budget of about $280 billion a year. Less than 25% goes to educating our students. So where does the other $220 billion go? It goes to a bureaucracy. It goes to a consultant. And that consultant then donates money back to the Democrats. And then it goes to a different consultant. And then it goes to an NGO. I mean, it is money laundering and money churning at its absolute best. And you can look at almost every single agency and you will find it. So the brilliance of DOGE isn't that he's going in and cutting spending. He doesn't have the authority to do that. We're the ones that have the authority to do that. What I want him to do is come up with a report, go through agency by agency by agency, identify every single program that we should not be funding, put a number attached to it. We slap a preamble on the front of that report, and we say that every single agency is having their budget cut by X amount as shown in the attached report, and none of those programs can go forward from here on out.
And this is why Democrats are losing their minds over Elon Musk. It's all about money.
Not one Democrat in America voted for Elon Musk. Elon Musk is seizing the power that belongs to the American people. We are here to fight back.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. God bless Representative Harriet H. Mann from Wyoming. God bless you and your...
Well, there you go. There you go. Because here's the thing, y'all. As we're getting into this here, again, it's just like anything else, any other investment, right? The Department of Education has been in existence for some time now. And in that time that the Department of Education has been in existence, our reading scores have continued to go down. Our math scores have continued to go down. Now, I'm speaking specifically of black folks. I'm not saying we're the only ones. Okay, let's be clear about that. As a collective, I'm talking about the nation in of itself, it's been going down when compared to other nations, right? As a collective. But I'm speaking specifically, I'm taking one little slice of that, and I'm saying, especially black folks, we've been going down where the nation has been going down like this. Black folks, as a collective, we've been going down even further. So your tax money that your grandmama, that your grandpa, that your uncle, that your auntie, that your cousins and them have invested for all of these years. And the result that you're getting from that is that the schools, the reading scores and all of that are going down even faster for you. If you're an investor, shouldn't that make you take a pause and say, hold on for a second. Now, this tax money that I'm spending to make the schools better, they're actually getting worse. So we need to change something up here, because the answer I keep getting from one side of the house is keep putting more money into it. That does not work if you're on Wall Street. Wall Street has never operated like that unless it's something illegal. So when I hear people all the time, especially when I hear our people, black folks, when we talk about, oh, we need to get together and we need to do an investment group. But if this is your mindset when it comes to investing, if you can agree with that type of investing and think that when we're talking about our children, and you think it's a good policy to keep putting more money into it, knowing that the results you're getting are getting worse and worse and worse, and in your brain, you're saying to yourself, yeah, we need to keep doing it more and more and more, you're not a good investor, and I don't want to have nothing to do with you. There's nothing at all in the world of investing that you can teach me. If you believe that, if you're okay with that. If you don't even know how to invest when it comes to your own children's education, then my God, what does your rest of your portfolio look like? You understand what I'm saying? So this is what we're talking about here as far as these different changes that are taking place. It doesn't matter. Nobody's sitting up here telling you got to worship and bow down to anybody. You should want to see your tax dollars, if they're going to take your tax dollars, to actually do something. But to do something that we've been trained to do is to get on these platforms and complain and talk about, oh, it's Jim Crow. You see what they're doing to these schools, and they need to give us more computers, and they need to do this. It's always complain. Meanwhile, these people saying, you know what, people that understand and know better, and that's black folk, white folk, all kind of folk, they say, okay, let me take my child out and let me put them in a better environment. That way my tax dollars are going there and I'm seeing some results. Yup, they're doing that and everybody's participating. The parents are showing up for parent-teacher conferences. You know, the child is, you know, there's good results that's coming out and all that. Meanwhile, you got the other side of the house saying, well, you just leaving us behind. Yeah, daggone right, I'm leaving you behind. Because I don't want to I can't build a legacy on the daggone Titanic. So yes, don't never let anybody make you feel some kind of way. You left us behind. Yes, I did. Bye. You could come too. The on-ramp is open. Anybody can get on it. But if you think I'm going to sit up here, they did a study where they looked at teachers, public school teachers, particularly black public school teachers. And what they found is a good percentage of them, you know where they send their kids? Not to public school, private school. This is a known fact. In fact, they branched it out and brought it out. They said, okay, well, let's look at all these other public school teachers. A good percentage of public school teachers, they send their own children to private school because they understand just the basic rules of investment. If I'm going to put money in it, I better be getting something out of it. So when it comes to the dismantling of the Department of Education, that should have been done a long time ago. And the only people that are crying about it are people who are profiting off of the dysfunction. And those people need to go because the fact that you're comfortable with dysfunction at the expense of our children, yeah, you need to get up all the way out of there. You need to go all the way out. I'm not crying for you because you were going along with it. You were a co-conspirator to our failure. You are a co-conspirator, and a lot of these co-conspirators look just like us. I'm telling you, you're going to have to stay focused in this fight and understand who you're dealing with. They want to keep you, oh, it's Elon Musk, and he's the Hitler, he coming out. You know, no. We ain't going to give in to that emotion. We're going to look at the facts here. And the facts are playing out, and we're looking right now at this juncture. I got a whole report I just put together as I played out a whole nother scenario based on our existing scores. And when it comes to reading and math in this, what do we look like in the next 20 years? It's not a pretty picture. And many of these people are going to be left behind as we get ready to get into the AI robotics section of this broadcast. They ain't going to know what to do. This is why we're doing the courses that we're doing right now, trying to teach people, hey, you better get on this boat when it comes to AI and chat GPT and some of this other stuff. You better start learning this stuff. Got people out here still waiting for the second. Well, I don't got to know any of that. I'm just waiting for the second trumpet to come. I'm waiting for the cruise ship to come to pick us up. You do that all you want. Meanwhile, people out here, they doing it, they handling business. And I hope you do the same there. Anyway, so we talked about Department of Education. Just a couple of quick notes here. LATITIA James, you know, she's the Attorney General for the state of New York. Well, you know, she's again one of the 92%. She getting the clap back again. Again, doing the shady stuff will always catch up to you. Take a listen to this. LATITA James and her father, Robert James, took out a real estate loan from Cadillac, spelled with a K, Funding Ltd. for $30,000 as husband and wife. For the record, LATITA James' mother is Nellie James. There seems to be a pattern of possible mortgage fraud in regards to LATITA James. New questions have now risen about a home LATITA James purchased with her father, Robert James. In the spring of 1983, LATITA was 24 and living in Brooklyn with her parents. She had graduated from City University of New York, Lehman College in 1981. She would not have begun law school at Howard University in Washington until the fall of '84. According to the New York City Department of Finance records, on May the 20th, '83, LATITA and her father, Robert James, took out a real estate loan from Cadillac Funding Ltd. For $30,300 as husband and wife. For the record, LATITA, okay, they're repeating. But yeah, so they were doing some kind of shady stuff then. See, you can't be in the public spotlight like that and do shady stuff and think you're just going to get away with it. All this stuff now, I'm telling you over and over again, I'm going to keep on saying it. You're going to see the faces that you're going to see getting caught up are going to be folk that look just like us because they put too much, they invested way too much in this stuff, in the foolishness. Here's another one. This is in Massachusetts. Take a listen to this story.
Earlier today, Boston City Council member Tanya Fernandez Anderson was arrested on federal public corruption charges. These 6 felony charges stem from an alleged kickback scheme that she orchestrated to obtain several $1,000s in taxpayer money in exchange for a bribe she paid to a staffer she gave her a very large bonus. The indictment charges Ms. Fernandez Anderson with 5 counts of wire fraud in violation of Title 18, United States Code 1343, and 1 count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds in violation of Title 18, United States Code 666. According to the indictment that was returned by a federal grand jury earlier this week, Ms. Fernandez Anderson was facing financial difficulty in 2023. Part of that financial difficulty stemmed from a sanction that was imposed by the State Ethics Commission of $5,000 for Ms. Fernandez Anderson hiring immediate family members in her Boston City Council office.
It goes on, y'all. I ain't got to play the whole clip, but I'm telling you, these people are getting caught left and right. Left and right. They're getting caught left and right. You know, you cannot, I'm telling you. I'm just saying, get ready. Get ready. Get ready, because there's going to be a lot more people going to get caught up. And truth is going to start coming out on a lot of these people. Don't be listening to these politicians and stuff, because I'm telling you right now, all of them getting called out. Or most of them are. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, let's move on to our final segment for this evening. And we're going to talk about AI very quickly on some of the things that have been going on in the world of AI. Let's see here. I want to talk about that. Let me see. The first thing to let you know is this is going on in the city of Austin. Now, here in the Phoenix area, we have there's a company, they're partially owned by Google, I think, and maybe another company, and it's called Waymo. And Waymo, and they have a project where they have these cars that are driverless, like ain't nobody driving them. But they got all these cameras and gadgets all around it. Anytime I'm in Phoenix, you just see them driving around all over the place. It's kind of weird and neat to see, you know, but I ain't trying to get in there. You know. I'll just look at it, but that's about it. But anyway, so this is the new trend. We are literally, I'm talking about this date, March the 26th. 2025. We are at the cusp of the tide is changing now, where driverless cars are going to be the new norm. And it's going to happen so quickly that some of y'all are going to be caught off guard. This today in Washington, D.C., they had some kind of robotics symposium, and where the different robotics manufacturers are there showcasing their stuff. Elon Musk or Tusk. Wow. Tesla was one of them, showing off some of the stuff that they're doing. We'll get into some of that in a quick moment here, but Tesla has their own autonomous cars that they are about to release starting in Austin, Texas. All right. And I'm going to tell you the difference. And they're going to launch this in June. Okay. In June. Now you're going to definitely want to keep your eyes on this. And I'm going to tell you why. Because here's the difference between Waymo and what Tesla is doing. Waymo cars, the way they're designed in such a way where they have to collect an enormous amount of data. They need specific data. And so this is why they have all these cameras and gadgets and stuff like that. The technology that they use, you have to give them specific maps and all of that. So they're heavy on when it comes to safety, but their scalability is very slow. All right. So like when it comes to implementation, when they're, like someone mentioned Phoenix, Tempe. Yep. You see them in Mesa too. Here in the Phoenix area. Then you go to LA, they're out there, and I'm sure they're in San Francisco, and it might be a couple of other places too. But they are in these small pocket places, and they just been there. Like they don't come out any further than that. They're usually in the cities because it's a lot easier to map it out and all that stuff, right? So that's Waymo. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference that Tesla brings to this space? The difference that they're bringing is that all of these Tesla cars that you see out here, I'm talking about the trucks, the cars, I'm talking about what people drive right now. But remember, they're all connected to the Tesla network. So all the data, the real world data that they need to implement this right here, these cars, they're collecting, and they've been collecting for a very long time, which means that it's going to be very easy for them, not just to implement these cars, but the scalability is going to be much faster than Waymo. So it literally is going to shoot up. They're going to be able to scale up just that quick. So no longer are we going to see autonomous cars just in these city pockets. You're now going to start seeing them in the suburbs, because that's where a lot of the Teslas are, in the suburbs. So once you start seeing that, it's going to become a normal thing. And if they're starting in Austin this year, I can almost guarantee you by the end of the year, you're going to start seeing them out in the suburbs. Okay. And so the scalability is going to be much faster. And so that's why a lot of investors are excited, because that means more money, right? Well, the other thing that these Tesla taxis that, they're like taxis basically, that they bring is, unlike with Waymo, you can be an investor in that. In other words, you can actually own, I don't know if own or partially own, one of these vehicles, these taxis. And so while you're sleeping or whatever, these taxis are out here doing the Uber routes and dropping people up and picking people up. And as they're doing that, they're making money. And you don't even need a driver. You home. See, I still know that there are some of y'all out here who are listening who thinks that this is not going to happen until the George Jetson era. What I'm here to tell you is that we're in that era right now. It's happening right now as we speak. So if you're someone that is an Uber driver, or you do that kind of work, you better start looking for some other work. Because once this thing launches, and we're talking at least for this for the Teslas in June, I'm telling you, by the end of the year, you're going to start seeing some rapid implementation. And Uber it's just going to be a wrap at that point. You understand what I'm saying? So you can live in your fantasy all you want, but I'm just telling you This is where things are going right now, and it's happening very, very quickly. All right, let's move on here. Let's see. Couple of videos here. Let me go to my other section here. These are some very quick videos I want to share with you real quick. Some of the things that are actually they're rolling out as we speak. You know, you can see the videos right here. I mean, this is one right here. I mean, just take a look at how these things are moving. People are now able, in some places, they're going to be able to buy these things and have them in their home. Now, you may be sitting up here saying, well, I ain't trying to have nothing. Shoot, I ain't going to have that thing sit up in there because okay, that's you. But there are many people who will. There are many people who will. And they're going to make them, of course, affordable where you can, you know, pay it month to month or whatever. Imagine having something like this in your house, not you, maybe someone else, and they say, hey, listen, I want, you know, this thing, I need this robot to help clean up. Just think of the Jetsons. I mean, this is the era of the Jetsons right now. What's the name of their robot? Rosie. They were preparing people back then for that. This is I don't know, this is a video, but this one here is talking about, they said robotics is the next multi-trillion-dollar industry. And in this one, they were talking about, is this a thread? Let me see if this is a thread. Yeah, this is a thread here. So this is a robot. This ain't a man in a suit. This is what they already are implementing in some factories. Maybe not this particular one. No, this is in Tesla. So right now in the Tesla factory, there's a section they have off where they have these robots that are actually doing work. And this is, so just imagine a whole warehouse full of these things. And he said that then the name of their robot is Optimus. And he said by the end of the year, they'll have 5,000 rolled out. By the end of next year, they'll have 50,000 rolled out. So this is what they're doing now. This is Amazon. So if you work for Amazon, you better start looking. I mean, get your money now, but you better start looking, because this is what Amazon warehouses are going to start looking like. They said Amazon now has 750,000 robots deployed across its warehouses, with each robot worker replacing 24 humans. And this is why I keep harping on reading scores, math scores. This is why I keep harping on this stuff. I don't know. Did I show this one? Oh, this is what they were doing in Washington. They just had this in Washington, D.C. today. It was a showcase on, maybe not that one. Now, and then imagine going into the hospital and this is your doctor coming up and doing checkups on you. You may not like it. You may say, well, I ain't gonna have no robot touch. But guess what? More and more hospitals are gonna start relying on this kind of stuff. So if you are someone that, you know, you rely on, well, you know, the hospital said it, I believe it, and that settles it. Well, they're gonna start bringing in robots in there, and you know, this is, they're being trained to work on you. Okay, so you just seeing, I'm just showing you some of the clips here of what's doing now. Here's another one here. These robots look a little different, but again, as you can see, they replace actual human beings on these assembly lines. These are like school lunches or something like that. Trying to see if I had anything else here. It's a whole bunch I could show you. There's a whole bunch. Look at this one. There's over 100 robotic companies right now that are rolling out stuff this year. Over 100 of them. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some of that, and just so you can see what's going on in that world there and why you need to be paying attention. One last thing, and then we're going to call it the night. I posted this over on our community page because it is, like you just heard, this is a over $1 trillion, a multi-trillion-dollar business industry. And listen, this is something that you need to really be looking into investing. If you have a portfolio, if you're looking into doing some type of investing, I'm telling you, this will be an area that you will want to check out in terms of investing, because it's about to explode in a major way, in a major way. It's about to explode. And, here's an opportunity that you have to make something of it, Now, if you're just absolutely one of these people, hey, listen, I just don't feel right about it, I'm not going to mock you. I mean, you go with your gut, you go with your feeling on it. If you feel some kind of way about it, I'd say that about any investing. You know what I mean? You invest in what aligns with what you feel. You understand what I'm saying? But for those who don't have those kind of convictions, I'm pointing out to you, here are some companies here, and this is a post I posted on our community page here of companies that you can check out, and in each one they give you a description of what they're doing. NVIDIA, they're at the top. Their market cap right now is $3.19 trillion. Market cap for Tesla is $780 billion, and I just read it just recently went up higher than that. They're even higher than that. That's why I say people want to scratch up cars, and you think that's doing something. The market ain't even paying attention to any of that. And then you have these other companies as well. So and then I put a link because someone put together a very good document talking about the companies that are really investing in doing things, both with the AI technology, the software, and the actual robots and stuff. And so they talk all about that. And it's a short document. It's probably about 10, maybe 15 pages or something like that. So I put a link there so you could check that out, if you're interested in that. And anytime I come across any information like that, I'll just share it with you. But listen, this is something I think would be transformative for a lot of people if they're paying attention when it comes to investing. Why not? I don't have a problem with it. I would encourage it, but you definitely want to look into this if you're wanting to expand your portfolio. And, you definitely want to pay attention to this, because like it or not, this is the new wave. And there are going to be numbers of people when it comes to jobs, they're going to be locked out. They're going to be locked out. I mean, it's just what it is. They're not, because again, of the poor standards that we have accepted all of this time, and now they're going to be locked out, plain and simple. But you don't have to be, and so we're doing our part here when it comes to providing education and pointing out these different opportunities where you can be ahead of the curve too, just like a lot of these other people who are out here who are paying attention. Okay, so that is all I have for this broadcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. You guys take care, and I will see you again soon.